Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming back. Today we have a few interesting things to say about Bitcoin. Um, First of all, I just want to say I am not selling you anything and I don't have any programs for you to join. Um, all I'm doing is posting my opinions. The opinions are my own, and this is by all means not a financial advice. You should always do your due diligence whenever you decide to invest your hard-earned money into any cryptos. So, without further ado, let's talk about what's the situation right now on the markets. Today's cryptocurrency prices. So, what we see is the overall market cap is almost $1.2 trillion today, slightly up from yesterday. And fear and greed index is neutral, like it was for the last couple of days and weeks. We're looking at the Bitcoin price. We're still at 29,000, almost 29,400, slightly up. Nothing much happening there. Ethereum, same thing, 1,879. XRP, which is jumped quite a bit in last month, is right now steady at 71 cents. I mean, there's not much movement in the markets. Litecoin is interesting, and I'm going to mention it in my next video because there's only 3 days left until Litecoin halving. One more thing, my favorite crypto bubbles shows that Bitcoin didn't move much, obviously, compared to some other cryptos. But when you change the range into week and a month, then you can see some other coins popping up quite a bit. Notably, XRP up 50% in a month, and Maker up 81% in a month. XLM 53%. Next, we have Federal Reserve raised interest rates by 25 basis points, which is a 22-year high, actually. So interest rate is like 5.5% now in the States. Interesting also is to see that Bitcoin is just going steady. There was another bank failure. Pacific Western Bank was bought by one of their smaller rivals, Bank of California. You couldn't hear it in the mainstream, basically. And now we've gotten to a point where many bank failures that are happening, nobody really cares. Nobody pays attention. But Bitcoin also does not care about any of that nonsense, and it's looking pretty steady. Bitcoin is up about 80% from start of the year, and 55% of Bitcoin has not moved in 2 years. That's 55% of the just over 19 million Bitcoin supply that has not moved in 2 years. Those are long-term holders who are hodling the asset as they ain't giving up anything. Um, now, we also see the BlackRock. They published this paper. Um, it's a big financial institution, and they say that the optimal Bitcoin allocation is over 80%. It's like 85% based on their mathematics. I'm not a financial advisor, but if BlackRock says that the Bitcoin should be 85% of your portfolio, then it must be true. If you like this kind of videos talking about Bitcoin, XLM, XRP, please give a thumbs up and share and subscribe, because that's going to help spread the actual news that we're showing here to as many people as possible, and is going to help the channel. Much appreciated. Moving on, Tim Draper. He's been a long-time Bitcoin bull, and he's been talking about Bitcoin prices, that Bitcoin is going to go into hundreds of thousands for a few years now. But now Tim Draper is taking it a little bit further, as he's saying that he believes Bitcoin will be superior to all other fiats. Let's hear what he has to say.
But it's also going to rise above fiat, and I think it's just better technology. I mean, having to have a bank and a government decide on what currency is good is not as effective as having a Bitcoin where you have a trusted third party, which is hundreds of thousands of nodes out there checking to make sure that the transaction was done properly.
So you heard what Tim Draper had to say about Bitcoin. And there's one more opinion from Robert Kennedy Jr., the presidential candidate, who's got a lot of ideas and tweets a lot about his plan to back US dollars with Bitcoin. Here's what Robert Kennedy Jr. will do if he becomes American president.
Exempting Bitcoin from exchange taxes is almost a perfect analogy for that, and we ought to be doing that in the United States. Secondly, the Kennedy administration will begin to back the U.S. dollar with real finite assets such as gold, silver, platinum, and Bitcoin, which is the world's hardest liquid asset, to strengthen the U.S. dollar and guarantee its continued success as the world reserve currency. This will include U.S. Treasury bills, notes, and bonds. My plan would be to start very, very small. Perhaps 1% of issued T-bills would be backed by hard currency, by gold, silver, platinum, or Bitcoin. And then, depending on the outcome, we would increase that annually. And what this will do is it will ironically, we will be able to use Bitcoin to help save the US dollar.
Let's just for a moment take a look at how many billionaires are there in the world today. There are more than 2,700 billionaires globally. In this macroeconomic situation, do you think that some percentage of these billionaires would like to be exposed to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? So these are billionaires, but how many millionaires are there? Now, this is something interesting. 56 million millionaires. I don't need to remind you that there's going to be only 21 million Bitcoin ever. Right now, around 19 million Bitcoins are in the circulation. Actually, not really in circulation, but minted so far. And the last one of 21 million Bitcoins will be minted in the year 2140. In the meantime, do you think that each of these 56 million millionaires will be able to get even one Bitcoin each? No, it's not possible, because there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoins. What does that tell you? There is going to be huge demand for Bitcoin. Now keep that in mind when you think that Bitcoin is currently expensive at, what is it now? $29,331. Remember, 10 years ago, Bitcoin was 5-6 cents. And it was very hard to imagine that it would go even to $10, let alone to $30,000 US. What I want to say is, this is not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who posts videos on YouTube. And I'm talking about my opinion. It's much more risky not to have any cryptocurrency right now than to have it. Why? Because downside risk is limited. It can go only to zero. And upside, it can go hundreds of times up. I wanted to show you one more site. It's coinmap.org. I like to look at it sometimes. It's right now showing there's 32,106 venues that are offering or trading in Bitcoin, and they're offering purchasing of Bitcoin, like businesses. That's why they call it venues. So 32,106 in the whole world. This number is going up constantly. And if you look at the map of the whole world, you will see that there are some hot areas for crypto, which is North America and Europe specifically, a little bit of South America. But a couple of years back, when I was checking the site, it was only like 18, 19,000 venues they're offering Bitcoin, and then you can use Bitcoin to purchase stuff. What I'm saying is just make sure that you have some exposure to crypto because it's much riskier not to have crypto right now than to have it. Crypto and Bitcoin specifically are here to stay. You all have yourselves a wonderful day. Stay healthy and prosperous. See you in the next one.